Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Nicole,
And I'm Dave.
and we are gonna talk about in this episode about new moon in Libra. So my previous video, full moon in Pisces, briefly mentioned about this new moon in Libra is really interesting one. As you can see, it's divided by one side and the other side. So let's dive in to look at this energy. So this new moon in Libra is happening 25th September and 5:55 p.m. 555, right? Interesting number. And Sun and Moon is conjuncting in this sign of Libra. And before we get into this interpretation, just check if you have any planet in the early degree in Libra. And this is an important one because this new moon is happening 3 days after the equinox. I actually made an equinox video, so if you want to know more about that energy, definitely check that out.
So let's talk about Libra. So Libra represents any contractual relationships or all relationships, especially close relationships and even open enemies.
And also, when you see this, Sun and Moon is in the Libra, and Mercury and Venus is in the Virgo, but they're really close together. They're all lining in one side. But they definitely have two different types of energy. Beside of this new moon in Libra, let's quickly visit this Mercury and Venus in Virgo for a second. So Virgo is about our sixth house, about every day. It governs our doctors, nurses. So it's about the place we find our routine, our health, food, and things like that. And Mercury is actually in home sign. So Mercury is very strong, and Mercury is actually stationed retrograde. So it helps us to revisit our inner self, and Venus is supporting there to think about what we want to do in our life, whatever we enjoy, basically. And Virgo's narrow focus energy allow these two planets to work really efficiently because Virgo is a very practical sign. And entire this line, new moon to Mercury and Venus, is trining by Pluto. And this is such a healing energy because Pluto is regenerative energy. Pluto is kind of like you break down completely and then make something completely new. So Pluto is about the rebirth. So if you want to start new thing, new idea, or even though it's old idea, but you want to break through, Pluto will help you to go into that process as well. And at the same time, when you see the opposition here, so we have a Neptune is here. Neptune is a retrograde and visiting 23 degree. And this is a kind of really significant degree because we had really rare conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. And I believe that happened early April, if I remember correctly, April 12. So it happened 1800-ish before, but we're not gonna have this kind of a conjunction in our lifetime. That's why it was really special. That's why it was really rare. So the to give you summary, that energy was about the big blessing, big loving energy, spirituality types of energy was a bursting, and the negative side of the conjunction was bringing a lot of water problem because the Neptune is governing water and Jupiter was like expanding that energy. So last time it happened 1856 or 1855, it brings a lot of flood, a lot of rain, and also people were expecting lots of drug usage because drug is governed by Neptune as well. And there's a lot of sadness emotion will happen on the air. So we are revisiting that place, and all the moon, sun, Mercury, and Venus is looking at the opposition part, right? So they can see clearly. It's like Dave and I have a lot of a common theme that we like, but we have a completely opposite side. So because of when we see the opposite side of some spectrum, then I get to see his perspective. He get to see my perspective. So that's kind of natural energy of the opposition. So they are all the luminaries and the Mercury and Venus can see what was your intention, what happened then, and then now they're coming in this position to see. Mercury is retrograde, so Mercury can see what you actually missed. So I believe that a lot of people had a kind of awakening moment, or they had a desire to go into the spirituality. Oh, I want to know more about astrology, tarot. Maybe I want to go on a like healing journey and things like that. So that kind of topic was on the air early April this year, but I'm sure the life got busy and a lot of like our life, kind of challenges us to make money and pay bills. So we probably forgot about that, the awakening and spirituality into our practical life. But now Mercury can see what we have been missed, what we need to revisit.
So look back at the first couple weeks of April and see if there's anything there that you started that was new. And because Neptune is retrograding back to that same position, it's a good time to revisit that energy.
And also Venus is there to help you as well, because Venus is really happy and stable in any earth sign, especially Virgo. And it allows us to work with the inner world and as well as to find what we really want to do to in this life with love. And this is really amazing time if you were struggling with a new career. For example, you wanted to turn your hobby into the new career, to into the new income source. But if that was difficult, or that was kind of blocked the energy, or you didn't know where to start, but this new moon in Libra will help you to get connect with more people, see things more clearly, and help you to push forward even better.
And you might get a brilliant idea or epiphany a couple days before this new moon, because the sun and Mercury, they're going to be conjunct, and we call this a cazimi.
And that's kind of jolting energy download time. So this is really important time of what you want to do for your life. Now let's go back to sun and moon. So this is happening to degree, really early degree, and they have a position looking at the Jupiter. And Jupiter actually started a new journey in sign of Aries, and this happening every 12 years. So when Jupiter entered Aries, we ended our 12-year cycle. Previous one, we started a new one, and then now Jupiter is also retrograde, and Sun and Moon in the sign of the worldly relationship, to the world stage is looking at the what we actually started, right? So here's the two energies going on. So the Pisces, Neptune, Jupiter conjunction back in the April. So like huge awakening. Oh yeah, I want to tune myself into the spirituality. I want to start. And the Jupiter going to the Aries, want to start some new 12 years cycle. And all the four planets are here to looking at it. And when there's a kind of like a split energy, you see Sun and Moon's natural opposition is Jupiter, and Mercury and Venus is natural opposition placement is the Neptune right now, and they have a little bit of orb between Neptune and Jupiter. But if you want to make a perfect solution, you have to go into the middle. So the midpoint between Jupiter and the Neptune will be around the 0 degree Aries, and then the natural opposition will be 0 degree Libra. So in this case, the world axis are so emphasizing, because not only it's sandwiched between the new moon and Mercury and Venus is happy in Virgo because it's earth sign. Mercury is in own sign, and sun and moon is in the early degree near the world axis in the sign of Libra, and the Neptune and Jupiter conjunction over here. So that was like kind of our desire to go into more bigger spirituality. And here, over here, Jupiter is our own personal 12 years new cycle. So they're like, oh my God, revisit that area. What do you want to do internally? What do you want to start here? And then what do you want to bring out to the world? Work on it and then show me. So that's the kind of energies presenting on the air, the time of the new moon. As I mentioned earlier, Pluto will help you to transform. Now they're all the opposition from that new beginning point in Pisces and the Jupiter, and helping from the Pluto, they can transform, they can do things differently. However, you have to apply some work, because if you don't do anything, nothing's gonna happen, right? So that's why you should work with the Pluto. And let's talk about how to work with the Pluto. Pluto needs a new way, basically. So here, sign of a Virgo wants really narrow focusing energy. So they don't want to work on like something that no longer serving the individual or the world, right? So the Virgo asking us with the Venus and Mercury, like let's make a plan. You know, what do you want to do? Okay, so whatever you wanted to do, spirituality or into your personal 12 years journey with the Jupiter in Aries, whatever the case, what is your plan? So you didn't do it. You might forgot about that because of your life was busy, but now on, what is your plan? How do you want to bring that energy into the world and introduce that, right? So that when you like just sit down and go into the Virgo, the hermit mode, maybe do some make a plan, you know, write down what is serving you, what is not serving you, and then decide what you want to let go, and then finalize it, really pinpoint the thing that you can narrow focus. So that's the way you can activate this Pluto.
And Pluto will definitely help you transform. And in astrology, if you want to know where the money is, you definitely have to follow Pluto.
And maybe your narrow focus, that plan, and letting go of all the unnecessary part that transformed and maybe give you the reality that you can make a money, you know, turn hobby to new income source and things like that. And also Mercury is own sign, right? So it's really strong. And when you actually see Mercury in Virgo, it's a like perfect image of the hermit. So hermit means you go within. It's not just stay home and do nothing. It's more like you disconnect with everything. You just be alone and you just kind of think about yourself. Because the Mercury in Virgo want us to know ourselves. So that's the highest energy we can tap into. I actually talk about this matter in my other video and about the equinoxes, because this is a perfect time us to think about who am I? Who am I gonna be in this new society? And how can I bring this new journey into world? Where am I fit into this community? Am I useful? Am I doing things? Am I bringing old structure, things that not working in the future structure? So this is a time to work that kind of energy, and Mercury is really helping you go into that as well. So beside of this new moon and the opposition of this Neptune and Jupiter, we have a Saturn in Aquarius and Mars in Gemini. They're trining because they are both in the air sign, and they're not really aspecting anything to this new moon or to this Neptune and Jupiter. So what it means is you will have an easy access information. Maybe for starting new business back then, it was really hard. You didn't know how to connect the dots, or you didn't know how to find the resources. But during this time and doing some, you know, like inner work and the hermit mode and like the exercise I just talked about, that will allow you to access a lot of good information you always wanted. It's very easy flowing information energy.
And the other aspect that Saturn is making is to Uranus. So you can see here Saturn and Uranus and the North Node. And this has been an ongoing theme since like 2020. So this is the fourth and final square, and they're still going to be squaring each other until next year. And it's just basically the future versus the past, right? So Saturn is the old structure, and Uranus wants to break through and it wants to create something new. And instead of focusing on the collective energy here, I would just focus on the new moon energy here, working on yourself and going within and working on those relationships around you.
Especially before the new moon. And if you want to know more about this information, again, I made an equinox video so that explain more in detail. And we're actually going into new energy field because Libra is the place we go into the interpersonal relationship area. That's why we call that world access. This is the place that we make the announcement to the world, right? So until then, I want each one of us to get ready into this, stepping into the new field.
And the universe is preparing us to find our authentic selves. So you got to know yourself, you got to love yourself, and you got to find your authentic tribe.
And if you want to work with us, you can definitely check our website, and sending you lots of love and light. And until then, take care.